poetry focuses on immigrant stories, homelessness, his culture, indigenous and Chicano history, where he code switches between English, Spanish, Spanglish, and Tex-Mex. John is a former migrant worker, U.S. Army veteran, and a local social activist advocating for homeless and immigrant rights. John volunteers with the South Texas Human Rights Center in Falfurrias, Texas, providing humanitarian aid, monitoring water stations throughout Brooks County. John also volunteers with Tacos Not Bombs, Corpus Christi, where he has been providing a free lunch meal every Sunday to the poor and homeless for the last 8 years. John also paints with acrylics on canvas and furniture, builds and upcycles furniture, practices martial arts, writes poetry in a bar, and is currently a Q&A inspector for the New Harbor Bridge project. John is sometimes an artist, sometimes a poet, but he's always Chicano. Damas y caballeros, this is One Deep!
Wow!
Thank you for that one. If you don't believe me about writing poems at a bar, ask Rusty, my bartender. So I'm going to tell you some stories. I'm sitting at a bar at Vernon's, writing poetry, a cold pint of beer, whiskey neat, black ink on a yellow notepad. My life is a very simple thing. I look around, strange faces, familiar tunes, a clock on the wall, only God knows the correct time. At the end of the bar, a woman strokes an earlobe, her nails are black petals. Growing breathless, she smiles as stars lean earthward from her lower lip. Just a dark girl on a bar stool on a Friday night, a galaxy of dragonflies flicking ashes as the world unravels around her. I tried to explain Buddhism to my bartender. Kagyu lineage and how Milarepa had once killed a man before his enlightenment. We compare knuckle scars and pocket knives. I tell him he has been dying. He has been in the process of dying since the day he was born. Entropy is true for us as it is true for this bridge that I am building. It is futile to create, yet I write poetry. I paint and build bridges knowing that it will all die. He says, damn bro, you're making me sad. He buys me a drink, gives me a hug. I am a temple crumbling, a rooster on my shoulder, a mala on my left wrist, writing bad poetry as I try to explain his existentialism to my bartender. I focus on my writing. I write 5 lines about yesterday, a sunrise and a fall from a 200-foot tower. I forget how the day began, something about writing my name with my finger in the air. I remember it ended beautifully though, wishing it would all just stand still. I ordered one more round, pulled my tab, tipped 30% for my VIP service. I sip on a 12-year-old Macallan neat, the sweet smell of the Highlands in a glass. My life is a very simple thing. I'm about to leave when she comes up behind me. Her familiar breast pressed up against my back, giving notice that this is more than just a simple hello. She smelled of ocean and earth, scented oils along the nape of her neck, more lines on the corner of her eyes than I remember. Her lips tasted the same though. Beguiled, red roses and delusion. She was still beautiful. Chocolate skin, brown eyes, black hair, some gray streaks, her body all curves, hips and delicious valleys. The last time I saw you, you were standing naked by my window, brushing your hair as rain filled blue and green just last June. She smiled and looked away, a painful isolation overcoming both of us, the bones of what might happen, heavy in pockets. She apologized for the way things ended. We talked some more, kissed again, felt each other one last time, and said goodbye. We are all masked preachers, with a garden of plump grapes pushing out from deep within our ribs. I accepted her apology. Sometimes in my dreams, I believe that someone could fall in love with me and stay. Then I wake up startled and confused and write poems at Vernon's bar, cold pint of beer, whiskey neat, black ink on a yellow notepad. And I write about stars and strangers, and I get philosophical. But mostly, I write stories about a woman and how her love left the scar deeper than any memory. A story about my first trip to San Luis Potosí back in 1994. I remember those quiet nights in San Luis. Tequila in every flower, the night stealing nectar from falling stars, the hills of Tepayac in the distance, surrendering ancient secrets. My hands conquering your valley. I remember how moonlight gathered in the corner of your grandmother's kitchen where we slept, and how you told me that you were born on a dirt floor. And how your father gathered the blood from the blood-soaked earthen floor and planted morning glories in an old tin pot. I remember those quiet nights in San Luis and how I lost myself trying to write a poem better than your memories of home. Thank you. This is for my Taco Nut Bounce family, January 3rd, 2020. It was freezing and they had torn down the tent city on San Rankin Street. They kicked everybody out of the park. When you're homeless, the universe can seem like 10 city blocks of cruelty piled upon itself. It's a war at home, on the streets, not the kind that sets you free, the kind of war that forces you to carry stars in a clenched fist. Makes you choke on hope, caught in the throat as you sleep on blood-soaked concrete. Every morning the city breathes a collective sigh of indifference with its morning coffee as it wages a war on poverty, building bigger fences rather than bigger tables. They forced the poor into Hillcrest neighborhood years ago. Now they tear down a tent city in San Rankin Street because they are too poor to pay taxes. Every day, carloads of families are trying to get a night's sleep on Upper Broadway, washing their hands with tears because they have nowhere to live. Well, just build more shelters. Just not in my backyard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When you are homeless, there is a war at home on the streets. There are no medals or parades, just dreams like ashes dressed with stones. This war is in the 5th Ward in Houston, by a church in San Antonio, in the projects of Baltimore, by a warehouse district in Los Angeles, on the corner of North Chaparral and Trick Street, just 2 blocks from here. This is a war. This war at home is my war. It is our war, a battle for the soul of a city that calls itself the body of Christ. Where city parks become trenches, food becomes a weapon, and a pot of homemade beans smells like life, smells like a revolution. With our backs against enormous oaks, we fight this war every Sunday. And when it is over, we gather our shadows. When we go home, but we leave our love on the battlefield so the world will know which side we're on. A lot of these poems I've never shared before. This is called Wine and Bread. I was drunk in my kitchen, drinking a lot of wine. Thank God, just kept knocking on my door. True story. I am drunk in my kitchen on a Friday night, trying to remember why am I here. My mouth full of cotton, my tongue a starfish in a geranium pot, trying to make words from white blossom. The phone rings. It's God. I swipe left. I am a moon, lonely outside my window, caught between clouds, barely kissed, and a sad darkness, stabbing at sparrows. I search for more wine and bread. There is none to be found. The phone rings. It's God again. I swipe left. And I add wine and bread to my grocery list, search my cupboard for meaning, find only stale crackers and dust. There is a knock at my door. I am drunk in the kitchen on a Friday night, wondering why God just won't leave me alone. February 26, 2023. I'm here at Artesian Park serving a free meal to the homeless where bread is currency, fresh fruit, a yawning tenderness in the face of a cruel city ordinance. Angela screams into the air at nobody, at everybody. I'm on my period. I just want some water to wash and some food. I need to brush my teeth. I don't need cold water. She continues screaming at how ugly it smells, like burnt hair and blood. She crosses the street, hides in a corner, opens an umbrella to keep the world from watching her bleed. It is a cold Sunday afternoon. Hungry mouths wait patiently for a free meal at a city park. Angela yells at the pigeons. Ashley and Connie gather some food, some room temperature water, and feminine hygiene kits. Scramble to get them to Angela. The screaming stops for now. I'm always sad when I see Angela suffering every day. Her screams talk to shadows, and at night she sleeps under a crosstown bridge. I ask her if she needs anything else before I leave. She screams something naked and cruel to me. I ask her for a hug. She apologizes. Gives me a hug and says thank you. Reaches into her pocket, hands me a fist full of loose coins and lint for next Sunday's meal.
Damn. Yeah.
We served over 400 meals today. Handed out clothes, hygiene, water, haircuts. And most of them will sleep on the streets tonight. Angela will scream at the dead rose bush across the street and at the seagulls dancing on shoreline. But she'll be back on Sunday, screaming at the world for its indifference. And I'll be back. I'll be back here full of hope, love, handing out food, handshakes and hugs, trying to keep myself from screaming at the world.
Wow. Beautiful.
Excuse me. It's a true story about a young woman I actually met who made across the border. She received sanctuary from a church in Falfurrias, and she was waiting for somebody to send her money so she could make the use of the meantime she was living on the streets, eating food, stuff about bombs. And in the course of 6 months, she told me her story, how she made it across the border by herself. Her name was Olga. Para los dreamers, Mama said freedom is an open wound. Every step you take toward it is part of the scar. Do not cry for me, she said. Do not cry for yourself. Fill your heart with hope, your chest with fire, and your veins with ice. But do not cry for me. Tears like diamonds fell upon a dirt floor, the taste of salt in our embrace. Do not cry for me, my new national anthem. I don't know what to take with me, Mama. All you need is the hunger, mija. All you need is the hunger. So I sacrifice my people upon the pyramid of my Mexican soul as the hummingbird sips nectar outside my window, sweet tongue in a soft breeze, no time to mourn the fleeting light of dusk as Mama sweeps me out the door. And she never looks back at her liberation, never looks back at her flower song. My last breath of the colonia is filled with borrachos on a hot sidewalk. So I climb into the back of a 1986 Chevy El Camino. I am handed a bag with a gallon of water, a roll of toilet paper, and 6 ham and cheese tortas. In 2 days, we will return to original soil. There are 4 of us. An old man with a machete, his heart still in Michoacan. A squat-faced Chichimeca girl with lavender cheeks the color of a Guanajuato mountainside, y el coyote. With gaps in his teeth, wearing the mask of his ancestors, he moves slow as if in chains, with eyes that can see at night and the skin of a slave. We have nothing in common except the hunger, a gallon of water, a roll of toilet paper, and 6 ham and cheese tortas. Piedras Negras, Acuña, Jimenez, Liberty chants a three-part harmony, songs of struggle cultivated in the shade of a nopal, hiding from La Migra, drones, and Minuteman manifestos. Our journey boiling under ancient suns, we walk silent like stones, rolling stones crush horizons like anvils, no one speaks. We are strangers in our own land, sleep on a blood-colored earth beneath an obsidian sky. All you need is the hunger, mija. All you need is the hunger. We plant our feet in the sweet summer earth once more. Crickets cradle the night as we stumble on broken English in the dark, finding our way by holding on to broken orchids that shine on broken glass. All you need is the hunger, mija. All you need is the hunger. We climb red pearl towers through another night as other nights return, still thirsty for the juice of rainbows. Moons stand guard over hand-me-down dreams, dreams smooth like shine, dreams hanging out a window on a clothesline, dreams brittle like warm bones, dreams that poke out your brown eye, dreams that rise from the carpet of the universe, dreams that color galaxies, dreams of reaching another homeland that we can't claim, dreams that speak to you in native tongue, dreams that linger like an eternal kiss, dreams of solidarity that unite like a closed fist, dreams before me, memories behind, dreams where there is no border, no language barrier, no river, no wall, no America, no Mexico, just the dreamer. We rise before dawn, eat our last torta, creep silently towards an abandoned Levi Jeans maquiladora, material wealth now rusting on the border of empires. Run, he says, run. There is no water here, run and don't look back. So we run into new struggles, into new fruits and burial grounds, into new pueblos, barrios y colonias, into the shade of nopales and mountain orchids, and I stop running on the other side and take a deep breath. It smells like wine on this about asphalt. It's just like home. So this has become one of my favorite poems. It used to be La Raza Cosmica, it still is. So this close second is called I'm Looking for a God. I am looking for a God. Not the one who walked on water, but the one who brought water to Flint, Michigan. That guy. I am looking for a God, not the one who was baptized in the River Jordan, but the one who crossed the Arroyo back in '63. Raised a family of 8, put 3 through college while picking onions for $5 a bushel. That guy. I am looking for a God sipping Hurricane Molitor 40s. A Spanish-speaking God, a surah on his tongue God, a yogi of enlightenment God, a Torah and menorah God. I am looking for a goddess, pura y blanca como la flor. Standing on the corner of People Street and Shoreline Boulevard, blessing the meat with her cumbia hips y Chicana lips. I am looking for a God who waits in line and loaves and fishes for a hot meal on a sun-baked summer sidewalk. A God who eats the barrio, drinks the ghetto, and always asks for a bag at the corner store. I am looking for a God, color de café con leche, who protests cathedrals, tears down altars and idols, brings tacos to the Last Supper, uses the Ten Commandments as a stepping stone, because this guy knows we need to take it to a whole nother level. I am looking for a God wearing thrift store jeans and huaraches, a God holding up a sign at a protest rally that says resist, a God reciting broken poems to broken people at some open mic downtown. Just saying. I'm looking for a God, an Apache God of the earth, a Honduran guerrilla rebel God in the jungles of Tegucigalpa, a God with the blood of 1,000 sons y libertad on his breath. I am looking for a God de la raza cósmica con un pinche nopal en la frente, a sangre de indio en sus venas, God, a my voice is your voice, God, a brothel and bathhouse, God, a Blaxican God, a gay man on a unicorn, God, a throw glitter not shade, God, a drag queen, God, a sit your ass down and chill, namaste.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a God who heals the sick con caldo de pollo, A God that cleanses your home from rage, save Romero y Copal. I'm looking for a God hiding in the bushes from La Migra. A God marching on Washington. A God doing time because he just chained himself to the front door of federal courthouse. A God on hunger strike. A God waiting on the doors to open in City Hall because he's got some shit to say. A God who serves the homeless. You know, a God that I can kick it with. A homeboy God. A homegirl God. A down for his peeps God. An everyday suffering God. You know? A God like you. A God like you. A God like you.
Yeah.
Thank you. This is I met a reunited with an old girlfriend from 1980.
Old
Long
flame.
time ago, 56, okay. And we were talking about our first date. Remember that night by the Arroyo back in '84? When my car broke down? I told you we had to wait for the car to cool down. You said it was bullshit. It was bullshit. It was a quiet night beneath the bridge. I read you my first poem, a poem of dark-skinned mythology, and I stood on the hood of my car. A starlit howl on a long stem night, howling at the indigo crimson cotton candy tapestry of starlight and sky, starlight gathering secrets, flesh and wet dreams, stuffed with cotton. Remember that night by the Arroyo, back in '84. My mestizo hands fumbling all over your cumbia hips, your pink skin on my lips, your brown skin glistening through a hole in your jeans, with border fence Malinche sitting on freedom.
Dang.
We held a bilingual ceremony of native tongues, trying to taste the soul simplicity of two beings adrift in a lonely universe, breathing deep revolutions of stardust and dreams, dreams that embrace the world. Remember that night by the Arroyo, back in '84, back when you were still smoky-eyed and rising like a pyramid from my soul, back when we held that screen door kiss beneath the pale moon, held it forever. I remember that night, back in '84, walking through orange grove summers before the sun